Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome again to Blog Talk Radio. It's your host, me, Rodan, and let me bring in my co-host, the one and the only Savage.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hey, Savage.
Yes, I am ready.
Well, we're going to have a guest tonight.
Oh, I'm going to have fun with this.
Yeah, his name is, very good guy, by the way.
All right.
His name is David Graham. He also goes by the name of Anti-Commie. I actually met him last night in Table 9. I guess he's a friend of Avid Editor. We had a very excellent conversation, and he wrote a book called, hold on a second. He wrote a book called Observations of a Proletarian. And it's basically a book that's not politically correct. He calls out the leftists. He calls out the Islamic fascists. He calls out, the black national socialists, as I call them, things of that nature. He basically, personally, I hope he starts commenting on the blog because he fits right in with our format, basically, which is individualism versus collectivism.
Yeah, by the way, I like the new format. I think it's going to really work well.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely, because now you see how we could have breaking news under that thing on the side, headlines?
Yeah, we got to give a shout-out to Eliana about that, because if you're out there, you just kick ass over everything. So thank you.
Well, for the record, we consider Eliana part of the admin team for all the work she's done,
Absolutely.
So, welcome on board. Well, she's been basically she's basically our web designer. The next big project we are discussing is importing Diary of Daedalus into blogmacracy.
Oh, that'll work great.
Basically the theory we want to do is create a tab, on the top. But if the post will be Diary of Daedalus, the domain name will still be Diary. Like if you do Diary of Daedalus. But it will link to a page on blogmacracy. And it's what we want to do is get that page to look exactly like how Diary of Daedalus looks like. So when people are on, they will think they're on a separate site, even though it's within blogmacracy.
Oh. Well, that even works better. I think that's going to be cool.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Savage. What's cool about it is that what can happen is this, because big people link to Diary of Daedalus, as we know. Ace of Spades, Hot Air has linked to it a few times. Weasel, Zippers, Robert, McCain.
Yeah.
Spencer, Geller have linked to it. So basically, when they link to it, people will come over, but there's only so much Chucky talk. They then will see a tab on the top. This is what we want to do. This is the idea. A tab on the top for blogmacracy. When they click it, they'll be like, we could comment on news here, and we might end up getting new users and stuff.
So is it when you click on the thing, there'll be another window will show up with the Diary of Daedalus, so you can have like a split screen, two separate browsers kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of like how we have to do now.
Well, that's outstanding.
Right, and on that note,
David and Eliana, thank you.
I
am most impressed.
Okay, and on that note, let me bring on Dave Graham, who I had the pleasure of speaking with last night. Hello, Dave.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah. Hey, good to go. I had a very good conversation with you last night. Unfortunately, my computer froze up a few times.
Yeah, we were at the Helen Thomas fan club chat room, I think, right?
Helen Thomas fan club. So, I looked at the excerpts from your book.
Yeah.
Staying Mad. What made you decide to write this?
Well, what made me write it was the fact that there was so many people that, they just watch the regular news. They watch the news and they go to bed. They watch TV news and they go to bed. You watch TV news, I mean, even if you watch Fox, sometimes you just don't get the stuff that's going on underneath. You really have to dig for it. And I started doing a little bit of research, and the more I dug up, the more pissed off I got. As far as how did this get that way? How did we get this far? Into basically communism. Especially when I was researching for that chapter, I got a chapter on communism, and when I was researching for that, I dug up, not just the 10 planks, which are almost fulfilled, of from the Communist Manifesto, but there was another list of rules goals for the communist takeover of the United States of America. I mean, this is old stuff. From printed, they were published in a book called The Naked Communist, and there was 45 goals, and once I read those things, it just so much made sense. Why there's so much anti-Americanism, and just the it's like people on the left, they want everything that's good for them is everything that's bad for America.
That's true. Dave, let me give you a short observation. Last night, I was up late, right? And on that channel, G4, they were giving the old Superman, the 1970s and 80s ones with Christopher Reeve.
Sure. Yeah.
And when they were giving Superman 2, towards the end, they show Superman with an American flag. He goes back to the White House and tells the president, I won't let you down again, after he defeated General Zod. And I'm thinking to myself, that would never happen in today's movies.
No, it wouldn't. And in fact, you just jogged my memory of another one of the most recent Superman things that they made was when Superman's coming back, and they were saying, well, does he still stand for truth, justice, and all that stuff? Mm-hmm. I mean, I was like, what happened to the American way? I couldn't believe that when I heard that. It tripped my mind. No, go ahead.
And what I just hate is right away, America's always quote. We do some messed up things, like we're going to get if you want to discuss it.
No doubt.
You see who we're helping over there, but but then again, I don't count Obama as a real American. He's a third world progressive, if you know what I'm saying.
No, I know what you're saying. Without even being a birther, you can say that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. He's when I mean third world, I'm talking the ideology of third world liberation, which is a form of Marxism.
Yep, it all stems from that.
Yeah, which we discussed last night. The third world liberation movement, its American branch is black liberation theology.
Right. Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like every time I always talk to people, it's like it's our fault, and they have this idea. Some of these conspiracy people that the U.S. is running the world and this and that. And I'm like, where you guys been? We're like the world's sucker. Everybody takes advantage of us. I wish we were running the world.
I wish. No, I know. And the other thing is when I was researching, I researched like the Bilderberg group. You ever hear of them? Yeah. When I started researching that, it's like, so much more stuff made sense. They want the UN to be a one world thing. They want nation states to become geographical territories. They want to just dissolve everything. And when you fold that into George Soros's main foundation, which is called the Open Society Institute. Open Society means what? No borders, of course.
Correct.
And the only way. See, I wouldn't be so opposed to like one world government if it was more on the lines of what America was founded on. But right, the only thing they're trying the only thing they're trying to do is make it a socialist government. So and in order to do that, in order to plug America into the formula, which for that, you obviously can't bring everybody in the rest of the world up to the standard of living and the level that we have here in America. So what's the next best thing? You bring America down to that level to plug it in. So when you look at that formula, it works too. That's why he's doing what he's doing. Yeah.
Dave, I'll give you a good example. As much as I'm into free market capitalism and things of that nature. What we have done over the last 20 years with destroying our industrial base in the name of, quote, free trade and globalization is part of the steps to achieve the goal you're happening. You know, first, the factories went. Then, get into IT. Then IT jobs are gone. Well, guess what? What's left now? Walmart and, McDonald's jobs, you know, and that's bringing down our standards.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, no no argument here. I mean, you know, that's what I was writing that about. And when you look at those, remember I mentioned earlier the goals for the communist takeover. There's 45 of them, and when you read through those, you know what? I'm just going to open the book real quick, and I'm going to flip to a couple of them. Do you mind?
No, absolutely not. We need to get information out, and that's the goal of the show and our blog. Savage, you on?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Dave, this is my co-host Savage, and just to let you know, Savage is an expert on communism. He's a hardcore anti-communist.
Oh, sweet. Savage, have you heard of these goals that I'm talking about? The 45 stated goals?
Yeah, wasn't that in a speech to Congress in about 1956?
1963 they had this there. Here it is.
I'm very familiar with that. Yes.
Yeah.
They've gone there and beyond.
It's right. It's an excerpt from the book The Naked Communist by Cleon Skousen. I don't know if that's really how you pronounce his name, but
I know that name very well. The transnational progressives worship the ground he walks on.
Yeah. No. Well, I don't know. He was exposing it. I don't know. I don't know if it's the same guy.
I got the names confused. Sorry.
Yeah. He wrote a book called The Naked Communist, and it was a list of 45 stated goals. I'm sorry, I don't have the copyright of his book, but it was obviously before 1963.
Right.
The first one, check it out. U.S. acceptance of coexistence as the only alternative to atomic war. Number 2, U.S. willingness to capitulate in preference to engaging in atomic war. Well, what do we have in the White House now, anyways?
Like today.
Yeah. Let me just here we go. I mean, some are done, some are not done. I'm gonna skip up to some of the meteor ones. There was some that really have to do with art and stuff like that. It was really funny. No, here we go. Number 18, gain control of all student newspapers. Number 19, use student riots to foment public protests against programs or organizations which are under communist attack. You know, I got a couple headlines that I back it up with that. Infiltrate the press. I'm sorry.
We continued those, quote, student riots. You know what the media calls them? Popular uprisings. Remember that term?
Oh, yeah. Popular uprising. Nice.
Yep.
Here we go. Infiltrate the press. Get control of book review assignments, editorial writing, policy-making positions. Here we go. Gain control of key positions in radio, TV, and motion pictures. Sigh. Gain control art critics and directors of art museums. Our plan is to promote ugliness, repulsive, meaningless art. An American communist cell was told, here it is, this is part of the thing, was told to, quote, eliminate all good sculpture from parks and buildings, substitute shapeless, awkward, and meaningless forms. So then my footnote was at the Smithsonian, remember where they had that ant-covered Jesus back, you know, in, December, I think, November? An ant-covered Jesus and Ellen DeGeneres clutching her breasts.
Well, Dave, let me expound on that point. Something very interesting happened recently. I don't know if you heard about it. About last month, that jerk, Anthony Weiner, who's a representative from New York City in the House, he was one of the people at the forefront trying to eliminate. I'm a native of Queens, New York, and in Queensboro Hall, where the
you don't even sound it.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm just having fun.
I know. And so there's a courthouse in Kew Gardens